It's the end of the year, guys, which means it's time for my favorite video that we do all year, my top 15 biggest pickups of the year. Now, this year, I went through some highs and I went through some lows. I almost quit collecting at one point. How terrible would that have been? But I found a way to come back and come back hard and come back strong. And I picked up some great stuff. And I personally feel like I had the best collecting year of anyone I know. I don't know of anyone who had a better year than me. But we should all feel that way, right? Let's jump into number 15 on my 2021 best pickups. Now, I always say I'm not a big SpiderMan fan, and I'm really not, and that's okay, because here at Two Brothers Comics, we collect our way. That was a rhyme. That was a bar. I think that's what the kids call it, a bar. But I'm a big fan of Kraven the Hunter. So here we have Amazing Spider-Man issue 293, triple signed by all the creators in a CGC 9.6, the most recent pickup in my collection. And it goes really well with number 14. With number 14 being Amazing Spider-Man issue 294 in a CGC 9.6 signature series with 3 signatures as well. These two guys match very, very well together. I think this is an outstanding pair to have sitting next to each other. I picked one of them up way earlier in the year, and then the other one I was like, you know what, Josh? Let me just go ahead and grab that one from you too, man. So I got the pair. Now, unfortunately, there's not going to be any Power Rangers on the 2021 top pickups, so I had to sport one of my favorite franchises in another way in this video. But another franchise that I loved as a child was Pokemon. So I picked up Pokemon Adventures issue number 1 in a CGC 9.8. There's only 2 of these on the planet, only 2. Earlier this year, you guys know, I really got into reading the Pokemon manga. Manga. No, I can't do it. It's manga. And that is exactly what this is. They did 6 issues from the second volume of the Pokemon Adventures manga, and I really loved that story. And this was a franchise that I really, really loved as a child. And this follows the Game Boy video games, not the television show, which I thought was way cooler. And these are really, really hard to pick up in high grade, much less a 9.8 when there's only 2 of them out there. Now we're going to pick up some heavy steam as we go along, and we're going to see some big boy books, as everybody likes to call them. This is one you saw I picked up at Lexington ComiKon this year for a heck of a deal. I was actually able to trade this for twice what I paid for it in credit at the biggest booth at the con and decided not to. I'm talking Jungle Action, issue number 6, first appearance of Killmonger. I absolutely adored the performance Michael B. Jordan put on as Killmonger in Black Panther, and that alone was enough to make me want this book. Next on the list is another issue number 6 that I actually got the same weekend at Lexington Comic-Con. This one was actually an A-OK from my buddy Justin Birch. X-Men issue number 6. Very, very early appearance of Submariner in the Silver Age. Very early X-Men appearance, too. This is the lowest numbered X-Men that I have, and it's kind of beat. It's a little worn and torn, but it's mine, and I love it. I did a little cleaning on this thing, so it actually looked way worse than this before. I just was like, you know what, let me test the waters on my cleaning ability. So I did do some cleaning on this, and I'm going to get it pressed and worked on a little more, and I'm probably going to get it graded. Even though it's a low grade, I still think it's worth getting graded. Up next, we have a very, very rare book. We're talking HTF, Fire Emoji, hard to find variant for a character that I love so much, and it actually features 2 of them. I'm talking Captain America Living Legend, issue number 2, and it's an homage to the old Tales of the Crypt comic books, and Red Skull on there is just fantastic. This is a ghost book, though. I mean, it is seriously a ghost book. I don't know if people don't know what this is, or maybe they don't care. I don't know. But the only sales I've seen on this were upwards of like $950, and I got this for a steal. I traded Something's Killing the Children, issue number 1, Jenny Frison, 9.8 for it, and I was so jacked to have this in the collection. All right, guys, so we are under 10 now. We are hitting number 9 on the list. Number 9 on the list, something that I really wanted this year. And unfortunately, I didn't get it in as high a grade as I wanted to, but I was able to obtain it. And I had very specific interest in this book. I wanted this Hulk annual. I wanted it graded. I wanted a signature series. But that Steranko signature had to be right out there in front of the knee in the fire. And I really, 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 really wanted this book, but I was holding out to get everything I wanted out of it. I wanted it in like a 7.5 range. However, like everything else, this book blew up this year, and 4.5 was all I could handle. So I'm psyched to have a 4.5 in it, and that's just going to do for me. That's going to be plenty good enough for the collection right now. So number 9, Hulk Annual, issue number 1, signature series with the perfect placement of the signature by Steranko. Now, number 8, I don't have here with me right now because it is at CGC. I've been waiting and pushing this video off to the last minute, hoping and praying that my CGC books would come in time to be able to put them in the video, but since I don't have it here, we're just going to throw up a picture. Marvel Premiere, issue 28, first appearance of the Legion of Monsters. This is a book that I wanted from the beginning of the year, before anybody cared about this book. I wanted this book so early on, I picked it up for $40, and it is definitely better than mid-grade. I estimated it to come back around a 7, 7.5, 8.0 if I'm super lucky. But this was one I really, really wanted for my Ghost Rider collection especially. But I just thought this was such a cool book with a great story and an awesome team. Now everybody seems to think that because this book has blown way up since then. But I got mine for a heck of a deal, and I'm so psyched to have it. Can't wait to get it back from CGC. Now this next book here, this is something that is very special to me because it is a series that kind of saved me when it came to collecting this year. Because I was in a slump so bad that I was almost thinking about just giving it all up. I was like, I don't know where I want to go with my collecting. I don't know what I want right now. And I was just in a bad spot when it came to collecting comic books. I was just kind of over it. I decided, let me go and read some of this older stuff in the Silver Age and see if I can find something in there to re-spark my love in comics. And where did I find that? In the Fantastic Four. Now, I decided I wanted to start in issue 48, first appearance of Silver Surfer. I thought maybe I'll fall in love with Surfer and Galactus. That didn't happen at all. But what I did fall in love with was Ben Grimm the Thing. And I immediately thought, issue 51, This Man, This Monster. That's a fantastic Ben Grimm cover. However, Ben Grimm wasn't really the thing for most of that book. So I wasn't sure if I really wanted to go that route. But I did find another one that I really, really loved. And that's Fantastic Four, issue 25. Now, this is a CGC 2.5. And I did pay more for this book than fair market value had it marked at, so I kind of set a new record on it. But this is the first solo battle, one-on-one, Hulk versus Thing. They had a little tussle with the whole Fantastic Four team and the Hulk in issue number 12, I believe, and that was great. That was the first time they met, but this is the first time these two had an all-out brawl, page after page after page, front to back. These guys just went at it in this issue. As soon as I got it, I had to sit down and just kind of admire the cover on it, how much I love this cover. And my son, who is 6 years old, was like, what's going on with this one? So we sat down and read the story together, and it was just awesome. So this is a very special book to me, and I'm really happy to have it. Next up, we're going all the way back to Huntsville ComiKon early this summer, where I picked up the third appearance of Iron Man. Now, this one was kind of funny because I had no thoughts of picking this book up prior to seeing it on the wall, and I had a book to trade, and I had about $100 in this book, and I offered the guy that book plus like $300, when in all reality, I should have just offered a straight trade because that book had actually blown up over the weekend. But regardless, I got the third appearance of Iron Man, and I couldn't be happier with it because honestly, when it comes to the first few appearances of Iron Man, this is the cover I think Kirby absolutely just murdered, and this was the best one in my opinion, and I'm so psyched to have this in my collection. And the cool thing is it never been pressed or cleaned from what I can tell. It's got a lot of pressable defects. It's got pencil marking all over the cover, up around the Tales of Suspense logo. I don't know if you can really tell, but I've considered cracking, pressing, and resubmitting this, but I'm really not sure if I'm going to go that route. But again, not a bad book to have in the collection this year. All right, guys, we have made it to the top 5 books in my collection that I picked up this year. This is where we turn up the heat. These are the books that I just am blown away that I picked up. These are books that were not on my 2021 goals hunt list except for one book. But even when I mentioned it, I said I don't intend to get this book. Like, I don't expect to get this book. It's way out of my price range. Have no hopes for it. Which one was it? Let's start off with number 5, which is a book that I really had written off, completely written this off. You guys have heard the story where I had to sell my copy, and I was hoping to be able to buy it back in a few months when I had the money, and the week after I sold it, it blew through the roof. I'm talking about Ultimate Fallout issue number 4. This is one that I got a steal on this year. I felt like it was just meant to be. I was just randomly scrolling through Instagram, and I happened to see this book up for sale for a stupid low price. I mean, it was crazy low price. Couldn't believe it, and I had to snag it. It has not gone to CGC yet. I'm going to do a full submission of Miles Morales books this year. That's going to be a great video for you guys to look forward to, but this is going to be in there as well. I'm estimating this to come back somewhere between a 9.4 and a 9.6, but regardless, I'm just psyched to have a Miles first appearance back in my collection. Number 4. Now, I do have a personal dealer here locally to me. I picked up my Iron Fist 14 from him, and I did pick this book up from him. You guys know him as Yahweh most of the time, but I know him as my buddy Sean. And I was able to actually upgrade a book this year, and I was so excited to be able to pick up an 8.0 of Ghost Rider issue number 1. You guys know my love and infatuation with Ghost Rider. My man Cave Comics AOK'd me the Marvel Spotlight number 5 in 2020. In 2020, he AOK'd me the Marvel Spotlight number 5. I had a raw copy of Ghost Rider number 1 that wasn't too good. It had a tear pretty bad up here on the top. But when I had an opportunity to get a 8.0 in this book, I jumped all over it. My man Sean hooked me up with the deal. Again, brother, I appreciate it. But when you dropped the broken slab and made me think that you dropped this book on the ground and that you had just shattered my book and my dreams, that wasn't cool, bro. It wasn't cool. Moving on to number 3. This is a book that I never thought I would have in my collection, mainly because it wasn't a book that I was really ever after. I'm psyched to have it. It's a sweet book, but it wasn't something that was ever like on my list of gotta haves, which a lot of you will think was crazy because it's pretty much on everybody's list that I know of. I mean, I haven't heard too many people say that this is not a book they would love to have. And it's not that I don't love to have it. It's just like it costs so much and the controversy surrounding it. I'm just going to show it to you. My number 3, Hulk 181 in a CGC 2.5 with plenty of room to bump and grade. I just have not had the time or the funds because it's going to take some money to get this one to bump up. But I'm going to spend the money to get this one bumped up and grade, get it cleaned up, get some of the issues taken care of on it. And I know I can bump this up a grade or two. And but yeah, my wife had decided, you know what, we're not going to buy a house this year like we wanted to. We've got a lot of money stored up that we've saved and spent a lot of time and hard work to save up. Do you want to invest that into a comic book? Well, yes, I do. Absolutely. And I had 2 books in mind, actually 3. I had a Giant Size X-Men, Ultimate Fallout 4, and Hulk 181. And I said, which one would be the easiest for me to part with at some point when we decide, okay, we want to cash in on our investment, and Hulk 181 was that book. So at number 3, Hulk 181, the second full appearance of Wolverine. Now, number 2, this is a book that, again, is at CGC right now, and I don't have it here to show you guys, but I will show you this picture of me getting this book at Lexington ComiKon. This is another book that I never in my wildest dreams would have thought it would have been in my collection because I cared zero for the series. And I'm talking about Walking Dead issue number 1. I picked this up in a PGX, almost said CBCS, a PGX 9.6 for half of what a 9.6 was selling for that weekend. And the reason is I started reading The Walking Dead Deluxe this year, and I have fallen head over heels in love with this series. It is absolutely one of my favorite series I've ever read, and I decided, you know what, I got to have a number 1. I got to have it. I did not think it was going to happen, and I really started getting serious about wanting to get it about 2 weeks before Lexington happened. And lo and behold, I go to Lexington. I'm getting bummed out. when I'm walking around because these prices and everything are crazy. And I'm like, I'm not buying any of this. This sucks, man. I'm at the biggest Comic-Con I've been at. Big books everywhere. And they're way out of my price range. And while I'm walking around pouting and woe's me and my life sucks and I hate everything, and I stumble upon a Walking Dead #1. That made the weekend a whole lot better because I was able to pick that up. I was so happy. I cannot wait to get this back from CGC. I've never been more nervous about a book in my life because if it comes back less than a 9.6, well, it was an epic fail. If it hits a 9.6, we're good. If it hits a 9.8, we're so good. So we're going to have to wait and see. Hopefully that video is going to be very soon. That is going to be the biggest CGC unboxing I've ever done because I've got some awesome big books in there. Now, #1, numero uno, the book that I said last year I wanted. It was on the top of my goals list because I always try to put one unattainable goal. And this book was very unattainable, or so I thought, thanks to my friend, my brother, Josh Olive, over at Haven Comics, a fellow lover of this character. He knew how important it was for me to have this book, and as a person who loves this character as much as I do, it was important for him that I have this book. And we're talking about Avengers #4. Avengers 4. Now, it is just a CGC 3.0. It is just a CGC 3.0, but that's fine for me because I have it. The first Silver Age appearance of Captain America. The first appearance of Captain America in a Marvel comic book. I still can't believe it sometimes that I have this book. And the deal Josh gave me on this is absolutely incredible. I mean, he could have doubled the price on it and still probably would have been under fair market value. But we had made a deal a couple of months prior that the next time I came up, I would pick it up for a certain price. And he is a man of his word. He honored it. And, man, I have an Avengers 4 in the collection now. I reached the unattainable goal that I set for 2021, which means I win. I won this year, and I could not be happier with the books I picked up this year. This has by far been my biggest year in collecting. My collection has grown so much. It is incredible. It has changed. It has evolved. And even better, the things I picked up were actually books that I still feel like are important to me in my collecting, and they're books that I still love. It wasn't just random things I picked up because I liked the cover and put it in a box and I don't look at it anymore. Everything I picked up this year had meaning, and that is where I'm taking my collecting going forward into 2022, and I cannot wait to do this video next year and see if we stepped it up even more than we did this year. Guys, drop me a comment. Let me know. Do you think you had a better year collecting than I did? Do you? Step up to the challenge and show me your collection that you picked up this year and prove that you had a better year than I. Guys, it's all in fun. Just kidding around, but I would love to see what you guys have picked up this year. What was your favorite thing that I picked up this year? Do you think that the way I ranked them was good? How would you have ranked my pickups? I know everybody's probably going to say the 181 should have been first, but hey, that's where it fell, was #3. I actually had it way higher, and I was like, well, just for the sake of not getting beat up in the comments, I'm going to bump it up to a #3. But I'd love to hear you guys' input. What do you think about what I picked up this year? Do you think I had smart pickups, great pickups, bad pickups? Drop me a comment. Let me know, guys. I want to see what you guys picked up this year as well. Hopefully next year when we do this video, it's going to be even better than this. Make sure you guys stay tuned so you can see all the new content we got coming up in 2022. We got a lot going forward we're really excited about. Make sure you hit the like button and subscribe if you're not. And as always, guys, collect your way.